Good morning, everyone. On today's show, Street Fighter 6 returns in prominent fashion, as today is the big update day, releasing Akuma as the final Season 1 DLC character and a giant balance patch. I've got the skinny. We've been waiting every single day for information. We finally got it. But in addition to that, all day yesterday, I played Hellblade 2. You might wonder, well, what's the deal with that game? Is it any good? Well, we're going to talk all about all of that and more on today's week-ending episode of the Level 1 Podcast. All right, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm DSP. This is the Level 1 Podcast for Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 2024. And if you like Street Fighter, you are in luck, because I have cleared the schedule, and I am now going to be playing Street Fighter for my next 4 streams. That is correct. The hype is back for Street Fighter 6 after a year. That's right. It's been out for just about a year now. And to end the year 1 of content, we've got a brand new character that everyone has been anticipating and hyping, Akuma, as well as a ginormous balance patch that is going to shake things up in the game. Some characters getting better, some characters getting worse, some characters, kind of in the middle, hard to tell right now. And in, honor of all this going on, I am going to be playing Street Fighter 6 quite a lot in the next 2 streaming days, okay? So, if you're down for that, you are in the right place. If you don't care about Street Fighter, well, good news is there will be a lot of variety coming up this next week regardless, with an Indies Marathon, a React Day, the return of Fallout 4, and many other things. But definitely we're in the midst of a resurgence of interest in Street Fighter 6 right now. The entire community, of course, reinvigorated after a year of kind of the same meta. To see that things will be rebalanced and changed around a bit is exciting and refreshing. So, I hope you are all on board for today. I even colored the background red in honor of Akuma, his traditional color, right? So, let's talk. But before we get to a very extended discussion about Street Fighter 6, because I have the patch notes, we're ready to go, and I'm going to talk about them, okay? What I would like to do is talk about yesterday. Because all day yesterday, I played Hellblade 2, also known as Senua Saga. And throughout over 6 hours of gameplay, yes, I played the game over 6 hours yesterday, I have certain things that I would like to say. Notably, that once again, the internet has fucking lied about games. The game is not 5 hours long. That is complete horseshit. There is no way, no how, that you can beat Hellblade 2 in an honest first-time playthrough in 5 hours. The only way you can beat that game in 5 hours is to already know the solution to every single puzzle, to play the combat absolutely perfectly, and to know where the hidden content is so you don't waste time going to it. Like, you actually have to have beaten the game first to then speedrun it and get the 5-hour playtime. But people lie. People always want to crap on anything, especially if it's a console exclusive, correct? So, FYI, all right, my over 6 hours of gameplay in Hellblade 2, I am in Chapter 5, and I'm basically at the climax of Chapter 5. The game has 6 chapters. For what I'm to understand, there's one major, ending boss fight, and then there's a whole final chapter of the game. Likely going to be about another hour and a half to 2 hours to see the end of the game. So, in reality, for an honest first-time playthrough of Hellblade 2, it probably would take about 7 to 8 hours, roughly, okay? But Hellblade 2 is not 5 hours long. That's an outright lie. Don't listen to people who make this shit up just for drama clicks on the internet. It's just absolutely ridiculous, okay? Okay, now, in regards to... Hold on a second here. In regards to the game, I have a good amount of stuff to talk about in regards to the game. All right. Then what we're going to do is talk schedule. And then we're going to go over all the balance patch changes to Street Fighter 6. No, not every single one. What I'd like to do is obviously talk about the general balance patch changes for everyone, and then the changes specifically to the characters that I use. Okay? Okay. Hellblade 2. Well, if you played Hellblade 1, you pretty much know what Hellblade 2 is. Like, no exaggeration. Hellblade 1 and Hellblade 2 are incredibly similar games. In fact, I would almost argue they purposefully didn't change the game much from the first one. Now, a lot of people might have issue with that and say, well, I don't understand. Hellblade 1 was in 2017. It's 2024. What has Ninja Theory been doing for 7 years? I'm actually not sure. I don't know if they got other stuff they're working on, but there's no way that it took them 7 years to make this game. Just to make this abundantly clear, if they did, that was probably the worst production schedule in the game development history besides maybe Duke Nukem Forever or Daikatana, because that game is not 7 years of work, okay? Now, is it visually stunning? Sure it is. Is the story interesting? Yes. But it's simple in its design. It's the same kind of very simplistic gameplay that you did in the first game, which constitutes 3 different kinds of gameplay. Gameplay number 1, you are walking around and searching for secrets in the environment. There's 2 kinds of secrets. There's walls that look like faces, and when you stare at them, they fade away, and you find a tree with a little story snippet that has nothing to do with the actual story of the game. Or you find a hidden area, and you'll find a totem, and when you look at the totem, some other narrator starts talking, and once again tells you a story that has absolutely nothing to do with the story of the game. So yes, the side content of Hellblade 2 literally has nothing to do with Hellblade 2. Don't ask me why they did that. They could have easily put supplementary logs and stuff in there, but it's just completely unrelated content. Right? Imagine if you were playing Elden Ring and you found an illusory wall and you walked through and there was an item with lore and you started reading the lore and it was about Super Mario Brothers. That's the side content of Hellblade 2. Figure that one out, okay? Now, I'm not saying it's not fun to look for the hidden items. It is. I like that element. It adds more to the game, but it's kind of silly, okay? Now, the other kind of gameplay is puzzles, and the puzzles are incredibly similar to the puzzles from Hellblade 1. Sometimes you have to align certain things in the environment to make it look like a rune, and when you do, oh, you've unlocked a certain part of a key or a code to open a door or something like that. The new element in this game is that you can look at these floating bubbles and it changes things in the environment. So that's cool because it kind of shifts. Oh, there's a bridge there now. There's no bridge. You could walk through and go to another back area and stuff like that. And that's it. Like, those are the 2 kind of puzzles in the game. Basically, looking for runes and moving things around your environment. Those are the puzzles of Hellblade 2. Not to say that they're all simple. Some of them are actually quite tricky. Now that I'm at the end of the game, I just did a puzzle that was pretty darn tricky. It took me about 15 minutes to solve because it was in 3 giant rooms you had to keep going between to solve this puzzle. Okay? And then there's the combat. And the combat is insanely simplistic in this game. You've got a light and heavy attacks, of which there's literally no reason to ever go between. You never need to go between the 2 at all. You could always just mash light attack. There's the block and parry button, and there's the dodge button. Okay? So here's combat. An enemy's coming at you. Don't bother attacking. Just wait. And when they attack, try to parry by tapping block as soon as they attack. If you perfect parry, you'll see a big blue flash, and you get an auto counterattack by mashing the button. All right? If you block, well, you blocked. You didn't take damage. Now, you can dodge, and after you dodge, sometimes you can get a hit in, but the most effective way to play the game is to parry everything and then counterattack afterward. About a third into the game, you get a new ability called a mirror. And what this is during combat, as long as you are properly playing, meaning you're parrying or you know, getting hits in, the mirror will charge. And once the mirror charges, you can activate it. It freezes time, and now you can run up and get a free combo on an enemy, usually resulting in a kill. The enemies in the game are literally all the same. They are all these tribal enemies called Draugr, or other enemies that look like feral beasts, but they're not real. I guess they're all in Senua's mind, but literally they're all the same. They just kind of attack, you kind of parry, and then you do a combo, and you wait for the mirror to charge up, and you kill them. Now, there's a couple variations, like there's a fire breather who you have to dodge his flames, although it's not always clear how to do that. But for the most part, I have just described the entirety of Hellblade 2. There's literally nothing else to the game besides, so far, there was one puzzle boss that I had to fight, where you had to run around dodging instant death attacks. Not that it mattered, because if you instantly died, you respawned anyway and just started the sequence over, which was instantly loading. And basically, we had to do is run around an arena and hit little chains, and then free this creature, and then it was over. So, nothing too crazy, all right? Now, me describing the game like this, you might be like, well, then it sounds like it's a crappy game. But Hellblade 1 also was incredibly simplistic in its gameplay elements. Where these games shine are the graphics and the story. Hellblade 1, when it released in 2017 on the Xbox One, was literally best in class of games on Xbox. Like, it looked so good, it blew you away. Hellblade 2 is good, but at this point in history, with the way graphics have advanced in video games, there's definitely other games that have graphics just as good. So it doesn't really blow you away the way that Hellblade 1 did, in my opinion. Also, it runs at a cinematic 30 frames per second on Xbox Series X, and I actually tested it with motion blur off and on. Now, normally, I hate motion blur in video games, but in this case, because the game is cinematic and runs at a lower frame rate, it actually looks better to me with the motion blur on. So after disabling it for 5 minutes, I turned it back on, and I was like, I'm just going to leave it on. Okay? Story. Well, in a nutshell, Senua is out for revenge. If you remember in the first game, Norsemen had invaded her countryside and killed her family and townspeople. And so she set out to basically not only find the remains of her deceased husband, but then to get revenge on some of those Norse people. But of course, that pulled her into a plot where she went to hell and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, did this really happen or not? Probably not. It was all trapped in her head, right? Well, in Hellblade 2, she's finally taking it to the Norsemen who showed up and killed her whole tribe. She's going to their homeland. She immediately is captured, apparently, or already was captured before the game started. And she's on a slaver ship headed to the Norse lands. But then the ship shipwrecks. So now she's on a beach, basically trying to survive, finding survivors. She runs into the slavers. She disables a slaver. And that slaver now becomes her prisoner. And she's using him to lead her to the Norse lands to get basically revenge. Well, this leads her on a quest, of course, that goes crazy. No exaggeration, this one is wilder than the first. Because you've got human characters that appear to be normal people, yet they're talking about fantastical stuff like, oh yeah, there's giants, and there's magical hidden folk who have powers, and there's Draugr who are cannibalistic monsters, and they're telling you all this, you're like, that's something that would have been in her head in the first game. But apparently this is real. In this game, these characters are supposedly in the story real people, or so you think, right? And that's really the story of this game. She's traveling through these Norse lands, finding out, why did the Norse people invade my homeland to begin with? Is there a good reason for it? You know, and basically that's the story. I don't want to spoil the entirety of the story because there's twists and turns about the giants and who the giants really are and how do you stop giants and what's this and what's that. So I'm not going to spoil the whole game, but it's on par with the first game, except now there's real supporting cast members who are supposed to be real people in the world, not just in Senua's mind. Of course, that's what you think. Perhaps the game will do a giant twist at the end, and you'll find out the entire game was in Senua's mind. Because, in fact, there was a story element, okay, where there was a character who was supposed to be an enemy. I almost feel like that character actually is Senua, battling her own personal demons. But you can't tell yet. You know, they're probably not going to reveal that until the end, if they even reveal it at all. All right. So a couple things I like about Hellblade 2 and a couple things I dislike. I definitely like the narrative style. I like that the story, once again, it grips you. It's interesting. It wants you to keep playing. Even if the gameplay elements aren't very good, you still want to keep going with this game to see where the story goes and ends. That's a good thing. The writing is good. Okay? And I'll be honest, even though some of the hidden content seems to be superfluous, like it doesn't really tell anything else in the story, I enjoy looking for secrets in games. So when I find an ingenious hidden wall that looks like a human face from a certain angle, and I look at it, it opens, and there's a secret inside, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Reminds me of the days back. Remember Knack? How in Knack there'd be a wall with a tiny crack? Like, what's that? And you hit it, and the whole wall would break, and there were secrets inside. And remember how revolutionary that felt? Because back then, it wasn't common for things to look like they were naturally part of an environment. It's kind of the same feeling for me there, okay? So, story good, and secrets good. What's bad? Well, most of the game is a walking simulator. Now, if you played Hellblade 1, you'd be like, well, that's par for the course. I get that, but I think that's the problem. The game's too samey. I feel like I'm playing Hellblade 1 again 7 years later, and even though there's a new story, they didn't really do anything to innovate at all. They took 7 years to make this game, and I couldn't tell you of a new element that works or even is in the game. It feels like the same game a second time, right? Imagine if you were playing Super Mario Brothers, and then Super Mario Brothers 2 was identical to Super Mario Brothers, just more levels. Oh, wait, they did that. It was called Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels. Remember that? The original Super Mario 2 actually just was that. Well, okay. How about Super Mario 1 and 3? Right? Anyway, but the point I'm making is it just feels too much like the same game. I really was hoping for innovations in a sequel. It doesn't feel like they even cared. They just wanted to continue the game that they had made 7 years ago and not actually care about improving the game at all. That's number one. Number two, there are some plot elements that are incredibly frustrating if you played the first game. For example, without spoiling, the culmination final boss fight of the first game within the first 10 minutes of the sequel is completely superfluous and meant nothing. That's stupid. Why did you build to a big ending in the first game just to discard that resolution and have it all restart again in this game? That's dumb. You know what that's called? A bad plot device for this game to advance. That's stupid as shit. Give us something so it feels like that journey in the first game was worthwhile, and it doesn't. It makes it feel like the whole first game was a waste of your time, and that pissed me off. So, there are some good things about the game. There are some bad things about the game, okay? I played it for almost 6.5 hours, and like I said, I'm almost done with it. And essentially, the way I feel is that the ending hopefully will be good, and I actually am excited to beat it. I am, you know? At the same time, I really don't feel like the game is a necessary even play game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have Game Pass and you're looking for something to do on a weekend and you have nothing to do for a whole day and you want to play a game for 8 hours and just do something different, it's a perfectly passable game. But unlike Hellblade 1, that felt like, oh, this is kind of neat. Revolutionary graphics, cool storytelling. Yeah, the gameplay's not great, but man, you never really played anything like this before. This game, literally, if you've played Hellblade 1, you've played Hellblade 2 before. It's just a different story. And that's dumb. They really should have done something to make it feel like a better game, and they really didn't bother. And to me, that's what kind of makes the game feel kind of meh. The first one was like, ooh, and this one's like, I already played it, right? So I don't know what happened. I'll be honest, I really, after 7 years of waiting for the game, I have no clue what happened here in the development cycle that they just put out pretty much the same game twice. So, it is what it is. I will be finishing it. However, I'll be finishing it way later in the week. The reason being, the schedule. Let's now talk about the schedule, because this week is jam-packed with stuff going on, okay? Ready? Today, it's Street Fighter 6 all day. This first stream, I'm going to be exploring the new character, Akuma. What we're going to do is go into his character tutorial/trials to learn the basics, and then try out combos and learn some strategies. Then we're going to go into training mode, and I'll practice some of those. And then we're going to go online to casual play. So yes, there's going to be at least an hour of me practicing with the character and trying to learn him before I go online. If you have an issue with that, just leave and come back later today when I'm playing online. Because I need to learn the character before I try to fuck around with him against people. You're an idiot if you think otherwise. No one would just jump online not knowing any basics of a character. You'd be an idiot. Okay? So, I'm going to try him out. Going to try to learn. We'll see how it goes. That's the whole first stream today. Now, on tonight's late night stream, it's more Street Fighter 6. The question is, do I want to continue with Akuma and keep playing him all day long? Or do I want to actually go to one of my other characters who I use and see if the balance changes have helped them or hurt them, right? I have the balance patch we're going to go over in a minute. For what I've seen from my 5 characters, Blanca, Zangief, Lily, Dalsim, Honda. Blanca is the most affected negatively. They made a few moves way worse, or not way worse, but basically more punishable or not as safe and abusable. At the same time, a lot of the nerfs aren't huge. A little balance change here or there with damage, something like that. It's not like, oh, they changed all his combos and abilities at all. No, they did not. That's not really a concern at all. It seems to me like what they just wanted to do was make it a little bit less spammy of a character, okay? Which is okay, because I don't usually spam shit with Blanca at all, so I'm not really too worried about that, all right? People who constantly spam things like Blanca Ball and shit like that may have a problem. And actually, it looks like they made his combo ability a little bit easier. Like, they made his medium punch Blanca Ball better to combo with now, which is good, because sometimes it would have issues. So, he's not horrible, but they did nerf him a tiny bit, okay? Everyone else I play appears to have been buffed, except Honda is a mix. They actually significantly nerfed things Honda has. But at the same time, they added new things, but I'm not convinced the new things are going to make him any better. I think what's going to happen is when you play Hondas online now, you're not going to see people who constantly spam butt splash, butt splash, butt splash, because it doesn't work anymore. But now, they made it so that if he constantly has the sumo charge, he could do new things with it that he couldn't do before that are more viable, so maybe that'll be the changes we see. The other characters are kind of, I would say, basically improvements. But again, I'm not sure at all how those improvements are going to work, because I don't think they're addressing the key issues with the characters being bottom tier. We'll talk about that in a moment, because I'm going to go through the balance changes. Okay? Sound good? All right. So, today, all day Street Fighter 6. Akuma on the first stream, either Akuma on the late stream, or other characters testing out the balance changes, okay? I'm not here tomorrow. It's my day off. I hope you all have a good day off as well. You enjoy, relaxing and safe day. When I return on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, more Street Fighter 6 all day long. That is correct. I'm again playing Street Fighter 6 all day on Friday. Since we got so far in Hellblade 2, I'm not playing it again right away. So Street Fighter for 2 straight days, okay? So first stream, again, it can either be Akuma or it could be me playing with the characters that I already use and seeing how their nerfs are, or how their buffs and nerfs are, okay? The balance changes. And then Friday night, I'm doing something special. And I'm not telling you what it is. I'm actually keeping you all in suspense. Friday night will be a special late night Street Fighter 6 stream. That's all I'm going to say. Done. Surprise, secretly kept. Lips are zipped, all right? But I think you're going to enjoy it. If you like Street Fighter 6, you're going to enjoy this stream. I hope that you'll be here Friday night for Friday Night Fights, okay? Now, Saturday, the 25th, is my PC Indies Marathon. If you have not yet voted on the games for the marathon, you can by typing !Indies into the chat, all right? And if you're not in chat right now, then you should check out the channel page, and it was about a week ago when I posted up the poll. Please vote. Now, FYI, I have an update. It's something that I can't really fix right now, because once you have a poll running, you can't really do anything to it. But just so you guys know, here are the games that are in the running for the Indies Marathon. Lethal Company, Hades 2, Inscription, Pizza Tower, and Stardew Valley. I'm actually going to refresh the page to see the voting results, okay? So what I can tell you right now is that Hades 2 and Pizza Tower are massively in the lead. Also, the game Noita is a guarantee because that got the most nominations. So for sure, on Saturday, we'll be playing Noita, Hades 2, and Pizza Tower for the very first time. Cool. Sounds good to me. All right? Now, the fourth place game in the polling here is Lethal Company. I have consulted with people who know the game, and they are insisting that I do not play it. They're saying that Lethal Company is a game that literally is only fun when you're playing online in a party with voice communication. Well, guess what? Number one, I don't have anything that I can voice communicate on that mini PC at all. All I have for a microphone is this right here, which has to be connected to this PC so you can hear me talk during a stream. I don't have additional equipment for this. I don't do online party communication stuff. So if that's the case, that game's just out. There's no point in me buying it and trying to play it. It's going to be a waste of everybody's time. I didn't know anything about the game when it was nominated, so I apologize it's even in the poll. If I had known that, I wouldn't have put it in there. but I kind of already laid out the criteria for this event very early, and I guess people just don't listen. I don't know what else to say. People just don't listen. So we're not doing it, okay? We're just going to ignore Lethal Company as if it's not there. Fair enough? It doesn't make sense for me to have it on the marathon if it's a waste of time. So that means there's 2 other games, Stardew Valley and Inscription. And based on the voting, that'll determine what, like, the next game is that we would play. So right now, we're definitely playing Noita, Hades 2, and Pizza Tower. Those are 3 or a lock. But now, we may have time for a 4th game, and the question is, would it be Stardew Valley or would it be Inscription? I don't know. That's up to you. And keep in mind, if you guys keep voting, it could mix up the polling. All right? So the poll will keep running today, tomorrow, Friday. And then we'll take a look at those results. But what I'm going to do probably is tomorrow, during my day off, I'll probably take a little bit of time to come in here, get the PC up and running, do the Windows updates if that need to be done, and get some of these games, okay? So Noita I have to get, Hades 2 I have to get, Pizza Tower I have to get. Stardew Valley I already own. I bought Stardew Valley ages ago, and we actually played it a long time ago during a different marathon. So all I need to do is essentially update the game, and then we're good. So, yeah. As for Inscription, I don't know what that is, but again, I'll keep an eye on the polls, and I'll try to get at least the top 3 to 4 games installed on the PC, and hopefully running, for the event. And that's going to be a fun day. So on Saturday, we're going to be playing all those games, plus at some point I'll order food, and we'll have like a Feasting with Phil episode here live during the stream. And in addition to that, I'll probably have some liquor. I still have some mojito mix, some Long Island iced tea, some other things I can be sipping on during the day as we enjoy a variety of indie games. And the hope is this. During this event, again, I don't know. The only game there that I really know is kind of Hades 2, right? That's it. The others are kind of like, I don't know much about them. My hope is that maybe we'll end up liking a couple of these games, and then we end up actually playing them as playthroughs. Notably, people are saying that the Hades 2 early access is super duper good, and I personally really liked Hades 1. So I think I'm down for playing Hades 2 in early June if that's what you guys want. I'd be totally happy with that. So let's see how the Indies Marathon goes, and we'll go from there and see if any games we want to be played, long term. All right. All right. Sunday then is React Day, where we got the DSP versus the Internet Clip Show on DSP Reacts, and then Retro React to Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympics on the late stream. Pretty darn cool that we're going to have that. Then, on Monday, this is the big question mark. What do we do on Monday? Do I play more Street Fighter 6? Do we return to Fallout 4, which now hasn't been played for a week? I knew this was going to be the conundrum that was going to happen. There's so much going on now, right, that I have to figure out what I want to play. So Monday could either be more Street Fighter 6 after 2 days away, or it could be Fallout 4 returning. Monday night on the late stream, I want to finish Hellblade 2. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, again, up in the air. It could be Fallout 4. It could be Street Fighter 6. The night streams could be a balance between the two. Or we could actually continue on with some of the indie games that we played during the marathon. Okay? So we've got options, options, options. I like having options. Oh, by the way, I forgot something. On Tuesday the 28th, it's the release of Multiverses. So during the day stream of the 28th, we'll be checking out Multiverses, the full release, and I'll be trying out new characters likely. Like, I'll probably be playing with Jason Voorhees and Agent Smith and stuff like that to see how they play in Multiverses. So, yeah, we got so much crazy good stuff coming up. So much good variety and fun coming up. I can't wait. We're going to have tons of things we're juggling, but that's a good thing. It's good to have good things you're enjoying and juggling, rather than just kind of being stuck with the same thing every day. Like during RPG Overload, when we played fucking Baldur's Gate 3 every day. Anyway, what was that? There must be a ghost in the room. Someone spoke up. Anyway, so, yes, I'm excited for variety and fun here on DSP Gaming. In the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of it, okay? All right, so I hope that all sounds good to all of you. And I'm excited for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to talk patch notes. Let's do it. We've been waiting fervently, adamantly, for these patch notes to come out. They are out. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Straight from StreetFighter.com. Let's talk about the patch notes of what changed in Street Fighter 6 today. What I'd like to do is cover the general changes that affect every character in the game, and then I want to talk about the changes that affect my specific characters that I use. Okay? General changes. Input recognition. The input recognition frame, which is the number of frames which you must press the attack button after a special move command is input for the game to recognize that you're performing that special move, was adjusted. For fireball motions, which is quarter circle forward back motions, it was reduced. What does that mean? It means they are actually tightening the inputs of the game. They're making it that you have to be more precise to do a fireball. It was so loose previously that I guess a lot of people were complaining they were accidentally getting the move that they didn't want it. So now they're tightening the inputs. That's good. That's actually a very good thing. Modern Street Fighter has too lax inputs, and you do get wrong stuff all the time. It's good that they're tightening the inputs, okay? Well, however, what they are saying is that when you're in the air, they're going to keep the inputs more released. So, for example, when you're jumping and you want to do an air move, that will be easier to do in the air, but on the ground, the moves will actually be tighter. They're also tightening half circle motions. So basically anything that's either quarter circle or half circle motions, which is a lot of the moves in the game, all right, will be tighter to do. Now, Tigaholic just asked in the chat, will this result in more dropped moves? Depends. It's situational, because when you say a move dropped, it could mean one of two things. It could mean you did a move and the game literally ate your input and did nothing, or it could mean you did a move and the game gave you the wrong input. Well, guess what? A lot of the issues with the game might actually be because the inputs are so lax. All you wanted was a quarter circle, but the game's so eased, it thought you did half circle, right? The other day I was playing with Zangief. I was playing another Zangief. The Zangief did a lariat in front of me and missed. So I went from a crouch, so down, to neutral, and then I pushed back and the two lights, which should have been, back throw him into the corner. Zangief did a 360 plus jab throw. The game thought that me going from down to back and two light buttons was a circle. Do you think the inputs are a little bit too lax in this game? So by tightening the inputs, this is a good thing. This will mean less accidental moves, okay? Now, will it mean more overall dropped moves? It might. We have to see how the netcode is actually going to respond to this change. We don't know yet, okay? Let's see here. Input difficulty for mid-air commands has already been loosened. I already explained that. Okay. They did this new thing that if you're in the middle of doing a command, any character has like a down-down command. Like, you know how Tonda down-down, and I think it's Punch, he does the sumo, whatever it's called, a sumo charge. So they did this thing. I guess what people were doing was they were buffering it. Like, they would do it, but then they would also go for a parry. And there was a way to, like, either abuse it or interrupt it. They've done this thing now where if you press the medium buttons in the middle of a command, it will interrupt it. So I guess previously there was, like, buffing moves, and they're getting rid of that. Now, I never utilized that in my gameplay, but they are changing that. Okay? An adjustment to jump landing hurt boxes. What does that mean? You jump and you land. Here's the area you can get hit when you're landing. These is being adjusted for certain characters. Listen to this. The following characters had their hurt boxes while landing from a jump moved upwards to match other characters. It was previously lower and caused unanticipated attacks to hit them. What that means is these following characters had too wide of an area where they could get hit when they jumped. These characters are Chun-Li, Dalsim, Lily, and Aki. So yes, Dalsim, Lily, and Aki, 3 bottom tier characters, are going to have their hitboxes adjusted. So now when they jump, it's fair and they don't get unfairly hit, which they were all along. Wow. Chun-Li, here's the thing, probably never saw that problem because Chun-Li has such great jumping normals that most people wouldn't mess with her when she's jumping. Her jumping lights and her crossover and, of course, her splits kick is so good that it's not an issue. But those other characters, it absolutely was an issue. Serious. Like, that's super problem for these lower tier characters. So this is actually really, really good news for me because my Lily and Dalsim are not going to unfairly get comboed just for jumping. Okay? That's a good thing. There was some stun timing adjustments. I guess someone who was in burnout, then they went to drop a someone who was in burnout who tried to block a drive impact, sometimes there would be a game bug where combo scaling would be fucked up or something like that. So they fixed that. I don't even understand what that is. Drive parrying, not perfect parries, but drive parrying has essentially been nerfed a bit. The throw hurt box is expanded. So when you're parrying, someone could throw you more easily. Hurt box from the 3rd frame and later has been expanded. So if you parry, all right, it used to be that you had a narrow range to be hit after a parry. Now that's been expanded. So parry is being nerfed. It won't be as good. The shortest possible active parry hitbox time changed from 8 frames to 12 frames. Again, you parry and now you can be actually hurt more when you parry, right? So, interesting. Recovery after the active frames increased. And after absorbing an attack, the time until the drive gauge starts to auto-regenerate was dropped. So, parrying is weaker. Parrying can actually get thrown more often and can be hit more quickly after you parry. But you'll actually get your drive meter back more quickly. So, it's an interesting balance shift. So, I guess parry has significantly been nerfed. In addition, perfect parrying. Okay? Let's see here. Super art gauge increase when you perfect parry was reduced. Drive gauge increase and decrease reduced. So basically perfect parrying was really rewarding. Now it's still rewarding, but not as much when it comes to gauge recovery and stuff like that. Okay. Drive rushing. Expanding the attack and throw hurt boxes of the parry drive rush so that they're no longer smaller than the ones for a drive parry. So basically, when you drive rushed, your ability to be hit was decreased. You would drive rush forward and your hitbox would go from this to this. Now, it's standard as if you were parrying. So basically, drive rush is actually being nerfed. I don't think a lot of people caught this one yet, but this is a big one. Like, drive rush will not be as effective. Certain characters who rely on nonstop drive rush, it'll be easier to stuff them now because their hurt boxes are increased. Okay? You might be saying, I don't even get any of this. These are actually huge changes. These things will actually change the game. Okay? Drive impact adjustment. Buffer input window changed from 5 to 10 frames to ensure easier movement immediately after the recovery ends for cases where the punish counter cutscene is not triggered. All that means is sometimes you do drive impact and you hit the enemy, but you don't get that big counter hit scene, but it still registers. So now you can move faster after it. Okay, good. That's a good thing. Okay. Drive reversal. This is the huge one, guys. All right? Drive reversal has had humongous changes. If you don't know what drive reversal is, it's blocking and then pressing forward into 2 heavies, and you do that reversal animation that knocks enemies back. This used to be called alpha countering in the Street Fighter Alpha series, and it's always changed its name in future Street Fighter games. Just listen to all these changes to drive reversal. Recovery on block changed from -8 to -6 frames. Attack hitbox has expanded downward. Techniques with a low profile will no longer avoid the attack. Pushback distance on close range block is now equal for all characters. So basically, it's increased in 3 ways. It's faster, the hitbox is better, and everyone's equal. Not one character has a good drive reversal and another character has a shitty drive reversal. They're all equally good now. Okay? And then, of course, we have the new move, the recovery drive reversal. Okay? When you get knocked down in the game now, all you need to do is hold forward in the 2 heavies. You don't even have to time it. The moment you're falling, if you hold forward in the 2 heavies, you get a wake-up reversal move. Okay? So there's no more, oh, I downed someone, and now they're trapped, and I can do a million meaties. They can just always do wake-up reversal now. Okay? That's huge. Now, it says this version of drive reversal doesn't darken the screen or stop time at all like the old one did. The attack startup is 18 frames, 2 frames faster than a normal drive reversal. So this wake-up drive reversal is faster, is universal, and there's no more endless stay on top of someone in the corner. Although, people can bait this, and then if you do it and miss, they can do a giant punish. So it's another new minigame that's going to be added to the game, and this will change a lot, I feel. Okay? Light attacks, initial scaling change from 10% to 20%. What does that mean? You know how people that just go jab, 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 jab like assholes? They'll do less damage now. They'll actually reduce the damage by 10%. So everyone who just goes jab, 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 and then they get a lucky hit and combo, their combo will do 10% less damage from now on. Good, because that's fucking stupid shit. Cross-up capable jumping light attacks. This one I'm a little confused about. Just listen to it. Because every character has a different hit and block recovery against their opponent, we matched the longest advantage time, so some characters jumping weak attacks on block or guard have an additional 1 frame of recovery. The change applies to Luke, Jamie, Marisa, Lily, Juri, Ryu, E. Honda, Guile, Ken, and Aki. Are they saying that all the jump light attacks for these characters are now 1 frame of recovery slower? If that's the case, all these characters used to do the jumping light abuse. Like, one of them is definitely Marisa. I would say absolutely. I've seen Ken do it. I've seen Luke do it. All these, Honda sometimes. So now their jumping lights are not as good, apparently. I guess. But it's only those characters. So there's other characters, like, I think that one of the best jumping lights in the game is DJ. They didn't nerf that. Cammy, they didn't nerf that. So I don't know why it only affects certain characters. So that's all the general balance patch changes, okay? The ones that affect the entirety of the cast. Now, what I'd like to do is go through some of the changes for my specific characters. First of all, let's do the character that's affected negatively the most, Blanca. Okay? So, his backwards throw, back and throw, they call it jungle flip, distance increased between opponents when Blanca's back is to the corner. So if he back throws you, he kind of pushes forward, not enabling as easy to corner trap. Drive reversal. Blanca is considered to be in a standing state through the length of the technique. All right, so when he drive reversals, he's standing. But I think that's a universal change. Like, they want every character to be standing after a drive reversal now. His standing medium punch hurt box has been reduced. So when he attacks like this with his medium punch, it's actually more effective because you can't really hit it as much. Like, let's say the hitbox used to be to here. Well, now it's here. So you can't hit him in the tip of his fingers anymore. They removed it. So his standing medium punch is better. Crouching light punch. Advantage has changed from +4 to +5 frames. Okay? So I'm not exactly sure what that means. Are they saying that when you hit, you have more of an advantage with crouching light punch? Would that make it more comboable? Perhaps? I'm not sure. I don't really understand that. I think what they're saying is crouching light punch may be more comboable now. I guess we have to mess with that one. Crouching medium punch. Now, this is one of his best normals where he does that upward swipe from the ground, and if it hits you, drive rush into a combo. Expanded the hurt box from 19 to 28 frames forward. Oops. That means that move is not as good anymore. It means that when he goes to attack, he's vulnerable for far longer than he used to be. So if you just keep throwing out low crouching medium punches, you're going to get caught and punished a lot more often now. Crouching medium kick. 2 frames of recovery added on block when the attack misses, and hurt box around the body from frames 13 to 28 expanded when the attack misses. So again, if you're just walking around doing low medium kick, low medium kick, low medium kick, basically you're going to get stuffed a lot more often. It has more recovery and more hurt box frames. So basically it's not basically his normals he used to throw around a lot were low medium, low, 2 low mediums. They both are worse now. Well, that sucks, right? Less options. That's not good. Okay? His headbutt, which is forward and medium punch, the overhead, disadvantage on block now changed from -2 to -3 frames. I'm not sure if that means that it's better or worse, honestly. Like, from what people were explaining was that it was supposed to be better, but now I'm not so sure. I'm not sure if that means that it's better or worse. Personally, I use it only drive rush version for combos. I hope if it hits, it ain't going to affect anything. But I'm assuming that means that if he does the headbutt and someone blocks it, it's not as safe anymore, right? That's what it seems like. Like it's a little bit slower afterward if it gets blocked only. So, coward crouch input period to transition attacks changed from the starting of the 1st frame to the starting of the 6th frame. So that means that when you do coward crouch and you want to do a follow-up because he has 2 different attacks, you can do the up attack or the jump, the timing has to be input later. For me, I don't have precise timing on that. Do you want to know why? Because the online of this game sucks, and if you try to just tap the button once, half the time it drops. So I literally, when I'm doing combos with Blanca, end up mashing to get them after coward crouch. I don't think that'll affect me then. I think it'll still come out. But for those who had precise timing, now they have to learn new timing for the Coward Crouch combo, which is his bread and butter combo, so that's not very good. So Wild Lift, which is what I was describing, Coward Crouch and then press punch to lift. The attack hitbox has been expanded forward. That's good. That means that when he Coward Crouches and he does the uplift, it'll hit more often, and sometimes in combos it whiffs. It should not whiff anymore. It has a bigger hitbox that hits forward. So that should be better for Blanca. His medium rolling attack is better now. Medium punch only. The attack hitbox added only when the opponent is in a combo, allowing Blanca strings combos together more easily. So basically, whenever Blanca does a combo now into Blanca Ball, he's going to want to do medium punch Blanca Ball. That's the best one. They've actually made it so that he's in a combo, the attack hitbox hits more often. So combo into medium punch only basically is what you want to do with the Blanca Ball. Overdrive rolling attack, which is the overdrive version of the full screen. It's the one he flashes. If he hits, it creates an air juggle. The hitbox for when Blanca is considered to be on the ground when attack is blocked has been made 4 frames faster. And the hurt box for when Blanca is considered on the ground is now a standing hurt box. It's not as good. That's all you need to know. It's not as good. It could be punished more often. Okay? Oh, his overdrive backflip. Remember how he does a backflip and then a roll forward? They made the backflip attack go forward more. So now the backflip move is actually trickier. It'll hit more often and not really whiff because they made the hitbox further forward. So, and basically, there's more too. I keep going here. I don't really want to talk about every single change. Oh yeah. Blanca-chan is not as good anymore. Blanca-chan basically has more damage scaling. They realized that the Blanca-chan combos in the corner were doing insano damage, so they reduced the damage and had more damage scaling. So Blanca-chan will still be good, but not as good. And lastly, and this is a universal change, level 1 supers, which used to be perfectly invincible on frame 1, are no longer perfectly invincible on frame 1. They made it now so that they are only strike and throw invincible. Okay? So I'm wondering, what does that mean? What else was it? Like, what could stop it? If it's throw invincible, and if it's strike invincible. So you can't hit and you can't throw, right? So what's the change? What else can you do that would stuff it? I'm a little confused there. I really am. Like, I don't know what they're getting at. Like, maybe like something that's considered a projectile. Maybe they won't go through projectiles? Is that what they're saying? Level 1 supers will no longer go through projectiles? Maybe. I guess we're not really going to know until we try. So, Wake Up level 1s will still work, but definitely not in all situations. Okay. Anyway, that's Blanca. So, in general, Blanca was nerfed. His normals, he has better standing medium punch. Okay. His lift out of the Coward Crouch is much better. Okay. But a lot of his moves have less damage, a little bit more recovery, and some things were just generally nerfed. All right. Okay. The best character improvements are Zangief by far for me. It's just so crazy how much they buffed him. I'm not kidding you. Literally, every single normal was buffed. Standing short, standing medium kick, standing medium punch, charge standing heavy punch, standing heavy kick, crouching medium punch, crouching medium kick, crouching heavy punch, headbutt, hell stab. Literally every normal was buffed, okay, except 2. All of them now, all right, basically have more hit advantage, they don't create as much distance. Like crouching medium punch, sometimes you go for a combo, so you go low medium, drive rush, low medium, hell stab, lariat. Sometimes they'd be too far. They made it now that the medium punch doesn't knock them back anymore. So as you're hitting them with medium, they just stay right next to you. So the combo is basically like a vacuum almost, and it makes it easier to combo with Zangief. All of the moves build more meter now, okay? All of the hits have been increased. Like standing medium kick has been massively improved to stuff a ton of shit. Like, just listen to this. Standing medium kick, okay? Damage changed from 800 to 900. Attack hitbox now expanded forward. Super art gauge increased. Driving gauge increased. It's like, so now it hits further, hits faster, does more damage, and builds more meter. All his normals are like that. Okay? So that's really, really good. He needed that. He needed to have all his normals buffed. In addition, his standing OD running bear grab is much better now. It's almost instant. Meaning, let's say Zangief's here and Ryu is here. He can do half circle back 2 kicks and he goes zoop. He just runs right across you, zoop, instant grab. It's insane. It's really, really crazy. Like, I saw someone do it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's way better now. Okay? Now, the 2 things that they nerfed, which I think sucks, his sweep is slower and more punishable. Not slower, it's more punishable now, his sweep, which was one of his best normals. And his cyclone wheel kick, which is forward and heavy kick, they sadly made it not as good. Now, when you do that move, if it's blocked, it's more punishable, and it pushes the enemy back a little further as well. So it's a little annoying. Like, I have to see using Zangief how this will affect him. But in general, I was using that cyclone wheel kick all the time, and now it seems like it won't be nearly as good. So that kind of sucks. Oh, power stomps, which I literally never use. Down, down, kick. What it is down, down, medium kick, medium kick, medium kick. It's a 3 stomp now. He goes stomp, stomp, stomp. You can combo into it, or after it. So if you trick someone into the stomps, you can do a combo right after it. You can even drive rush after it. Oh, that's a huge change because it used to be a worthless move. Now if you catch someone with the stomps, you can actually do something after it. Cool. I'm actually being told it's the opposite. The wheel kick is better now because of the extra pushback. He can't be punished from it. Okay, even better. All right, never mind. So basically, and I could keep going again, and it basically all damage was increased. Like his lariat damage increased now. His overdrive lariat damage increased now. Literally every single move now does way more meter. Oh, his aerial 360 is better now too. You know how he has an aerial 360, aerial spinning pile driver? Now it all has the range as if it's the OD version. So basically, it's just crazy good. It could catch them from like a huge distance and just grab them out of the air. You're going to see people actually using air spinning pile driver now because it's way more viable now. Let's see. That's pretty much covers his changes. So basically, almost all his normals are better damage output, better meter gain. Remember I said one of the biggest problems with Zangief is his meter. He kind of burned out a lot. He won't burn out nearly as much. Every single normal builds more meter, and all his grabs build more meter now. So they may have actually fixed the problem, which is a great thing. Now, will Zangief actually be good? No. I don't think so. Are they making him more viable? Yes, they are. But his core problems still exist, right? Now that everyone has a universal drive wake-up reversal, maybe he won't have the issues getting trapped in the corner as much. We'll have to see. But hey, this is good news for me. I just worked my ass off to get him to master, and now they actually really buffed him. So I'm kind of interested to use him and see how it works now. Okay? One of the weirdest changes for me is Lily. All right? So I go to look at Lily's changes, right? And immediately they say her standing light punch and standing light kick were buffed to high hell. Her light punch has a reduced active startup frame. And actually, it says that the technique length is shorter. So basically, it's faster to come out, but also it doesn't stay out there as long. But listen to this for standing light kick. Recovery for standing light kick changed from 12 to 8 frames. It's an 8-frame normal now, standing light kick. It already was one of the best normals. Now it's superbly good. Advantage on hit changed from +1 to +5 frames. She has a 5-frame advantage when she hits you with standing light kick now. Disadvantage on block changed from -4 to -1. She has a monstrous advantage with this light kick. If she hits or blocks, it's dramatically better now. Rapid cancel timing changed frames 10 to -16 to frames 10 to 12. So if you're going to cancel out of the light kick, it's a little trickier now. Okay? Cancel drive rush activation frames when the attack misses change from 9 to 13 to 9 to 11. So again, timing to use this move properly is trickier, but it's going to come out faster, which means it's going to stuff more moves, and it's going to be good even if they block. She has a better advantage. She has a frame advantage. So standing light kick was one of her best moves. What she would do is do her counter rush and then immediately land into a light kick. Now, like, nothing stops it. She could land and just do light kick. Like, the only thing I could think of is a perfect invincible move, right? Like a level 1 super, perhaps. But outside of that, I think she's going to stuff almost everything with standing light kick. Okay? Her crouching medium kick was slightly improved. Less startup frames and technique length improved. Here's the problem. I can't believe I'm saying this. They fucking nerfed her. When you see me play Lily, what is the best normal attack that I use? Can anyone say? When you guys watch me play with Lily, what's the best normal that I use? I'm sure you guys are going to answer this in a second. Well, I guess I'll just answer it because it's probably going to take too long for answers. Crouching heavy punch. Crouching heavy punch is when she takes her tomfa thing and goes, like this. If it hits, it's 1 to 2 hits, and you drive rush out of it into another one, into either her, Rising Condor move or a level 1 super. They increased the hurt box. Hurt box from frame 33 expanded forward. That means that when she's doing it, if it misses, it's easier to punish it. It's like, dude, that's her best move. Literally her best move and one of her most useful tools, and they fucking nerfed it. So what they did is when she's up in your face, she's better because her light kick is really, really good. But now, if she's not in your face, she's worse. Why would you make it worse? That doesn't even make sense. She wasn't good to begin with. Why would you nerf that? I just don't understand what they did that for. Outside of that, there's just very small changes. Damage scaling on her Mexican Typhoon command throw was reduced, so it won't scale as bad. It'll basically be a little bit better. Reduced pushback on medium Condor Wind, which is, again, when she does low fierce and then she cancels into the Condor Wind, which is the Tonfa Slam, and that gives her wind charge. Reduced pushback. So guess what that means? She's going to get punished more often from doing it. But she needs to do that to get wind charge. So now they're taking away her ability to do it safely. Why? She wasn't good to begin with. Why did you take away her ability to get wind charge safe? They did. What the fuck? I'm like, I can't explain it. Why are you nerfing Lily? One of the worst, if not the worst character in the game. The Overdrive version of Condor Wind, where again she does the Tonfa dance and slam. This is the Overdrive version. The startup was reduced. Technique length was also reduced. When the button is released between frames 6 to 15, Lily will transition to the fastest version even if the button is pressed again. What does that mean? I have no fucking idea. I guess what it is when she does the OD version, it hits extra, and when you press the button, it's like a second hit. I guess something changed about that. I don't really understand it. So her Overdrive, listen to this, Windclad Tomahawk Buster. So if she has a wind charge, Windclad, and she does the OD version of her Dragon Punch, which is in this game called Tomahawk Buster, they added a new hit frame to make it easier to combo. So if you're comboing the OD Rising Windclad Tomahawk Buster, it's easier to combo. I can't even say the name of it. So there's no way anyone would ever understand that, right? This also is very weird. Her level 1 super, okay, was both improved and nerfed. Just listen to this. Attack startup now changed from 13 to 10 frames, meaning her level 1 super comes out faster. That's good. It means that it's better as a reversal move, okay? Technique length changed for frames, so basically it hits a little bit less, I guess. But the first frame of the technique is no longer completely invincible. So you can use this move as a wake-up, but it won't stop projectiles, okay? But that's cool that now it comes out faster, so her level 1 super was increased. So the problem is they buffed some things that don't really matter because they were already good. Her light kick was already good. There was no reason to buff the light kick. They nerfed her low heavy punch, which was her most critical move. I don't know why they did that. It doesn't seem to make much sense. There's one other weird thing too. Just listen to this. Crouching heavy kick. For those who don't remember that move, she basically puts herself on her 2 tonfas and does a spinning kick. It's supposed to be a 2-hit low sweep. Knockback time for when the first attack hits while on the ground is increased. I don't know what that means. Second attack now becomes a high attack when the first attack is blocked. So basically, if you block the first low hit, the second attack's high, so you don't have to be blocking low for both hits. I don't know who complained that the double hit sweep was a problem. You remember anyone saying, oh, man, that double hit sweep of Lily really catches me all the time because the second hit is low. It's not fair. What person even uses the sweep? It's not a good tactic because she's open after a block. So it doesn't even make sense for some reason. But maybe what it is, here's what I'm assuming. They're trying to help her, and here's why. If you can drive cancel off of that hit, then it makes the sweep safe. So you can walk forward sweep. And if they block it on the second blocked hit, you can drive rush, and now she's safe. I think that might be what it is. And what they're intending to do is sweep, drive rush, light kick. So now she has an out. If she sweeps and it gets blocked, she has an out. But I don't know if you can drive rush cancel off of it. Because it's not a sweep, because it's a standing attack, maybe that's the case now. Maybe now it could be a drive rush. Okay? So anyway, I didn't talk about Dalsim. I didn't talk about Honda yet. That's okay. We're not going to keep going because we're already long on time on the podcast. But in general, are you kind of understanding what the balance changes are? Certain characters got a few buffs, but a lot of nerfs, like Blanca. Some characters got pretty much pure buffs, like Zangief definitely got a bunch of buffs. Lily is kind of a mixed bag, but the weird thing is the thing that they nerfed about her was her best thing, and she sucked. So why would you nerf the best thing when she already was bad? I almost feel like Lily will be worse. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we can mess around with her. Maybe that low roundhouse will be a new trick. You know, you do it. If it grounds them, great. If not, drive rush and get a little mix-up technique or whatever, right? But I don't know. Carlton Jr. says it's a universal change for 2-hit sweeps. Jamie's is the same. So can Jamie also, like, that's what I'm questioning. If he does his sweep, the second hit blocked is high. Can he drive rush out of it now? Because that would make that a completely safe move for them now, you know? I don't know. Anyway, we're not done, but we're not going to do the rest today. We could definitely talk about other changes. Like I said, we could talk about the Dalsim and Honda changes later. Essentially with Honda, what they did is they made it so that when he butt slams, he pushes you back. So now he can no longer butt slam, jab, and trap you. Making it the only way out is basically like a perfect reversal or a parry. At the same time, they made it now that when he has his sumo charge, he can do the charged 100 hands, the better version, off of a bunch of moves. He can do it off of like medium punch, low medium kick. It's all 2-in-1 cancelable. It didn't used to be. So now he has way more options for charged 100 hands. So I think what they want you to do now, instead of just being a fucking special move spammer, where he's basically constantly doing butt slam, instead they want you to kind of be a mid-range poker. They poke and then a bunch of hands into a combo, then charge again, poke, 100 hands, combo. That's what they want you to do. So they're actually changing the style that Honda will be played. Will that make him better? I don't know. I guess we'll see. So, I'm curious what you guys think. Yak Almighty says all the characters have hidden buffs and changes, so there still might be things that are good. Night Shift says they left Ken alone. Basically, he's not changed, so now he's the best character in the game. Luke's damage got nerfed. Great. Oh, boy. Great. No positive improvements. All right. Well, guys. That's it. Okay. Let's now do some shout outs because we're running out of time. The podcast went long with everything I had to talk about. It looks like literally so far, every single contribution is on the YouTube side. We started off with John Nepper, 23 months as a member, says, hey, Phil, Akuma Street Fighter 6 hype today. Indeed, John. The Big Dog did a $19.99 super chat. Says, you often mention people online not understanding fundamentals. For casuals that don't know any better, what fundamentals are you talking about? To laymen, it looks like a lot of punish counters. Essentially, a lot of people who play online learned a flow chart. What does that mean? They studied a pattern that you can do with these characters. For example, with Ken. There is absolutely a hit sequence with Ken that you can do. And basically what it is, it's a guessing game. He could do like 2 or 3 different hit sequences. And once they begin, you just keep doing them. When they end, you just guess another one and begin the flowchart again. Okay? What I mean by that is there is no actual conscious, intelligent thought in that brain saying, oh, it's a situation where I should be doing this. Instead, they're just do this, then do this, then do this. And if the pattern fails, they lose. So for example, if at any point you interrupt that flowchart, they have no clue what to do. They have to try to find a way to start it again. They don't know how to consciously react to anything you're doing. They can't block high-low. They can't recognize a mix-up. They don't know an overhead. They don't know nothing. They just fucking play a flowchart. There's literally people who play with Ken who have no active understanding of the fighting game. They just memorize 3 or 4 patterns. And they just, oh, I'll do this one. No, I'll do this one. Let's try this one. This one. Oh, I won. That's it. And that's sad because fighting games are not meant to be played like that. They're supposed to be, yes, there's techniques that will work, but not you just spam the same technique in a circle endlessly till you win. That's not what a fighting game was ever supposed to be. People like that used to be laughed at and spanked around in arcades saying, man, you don't even understand what this fucking game is, you dunce. But now, because everyone's playing it online, people can get away with it. It's sad. So that's what I mean. Imagine having no actual conscious understanding of the game, right? Imagine you're playing Tetris and all you know is one setup to break 4 rows in a row. And if you can't break the 4 rows in a row, you fail the game. But all you know is breaking 4 rows. If you get to a situation where you can break 4 rows, you do well. And you could be scoring high on Tetris. But then you get some bad luck, you can't break the 4 rows, you just lose. That's how these people are. Only sadly, the game is built that a lot of these people get away with it. They'll break the 4 rows over and over and keep playing Tetris even though they're really not good at it. Okay. Carlton Jr., I understand what you're saying, but what my question is, does that mean the sweep is better or worse? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If the 2-hit sweeps are better or worse now. If they're better, I'm happy about that for Lily, but it may not be better. It may be worse. I can't figure that out yet. Okay. Orcs or Dorks hitting his 3-year anniversary as a channel member and earning the Diamond Crown. He's his 36-month badge flex. Yes, more and more people are now getting their 3-year crowns. I'm so happy to see you guys in chat. Thank you for supporting the channel for 3 years. That is amazing. Thank you so much. And Swagonito hitting 35 months, almost to the 3-year mark, says, Akuma, baby! The famous quote from all the way back in the days of friend request ridicule. That is correct. So thank you to the big dog. Let me get you on the leaderboard here. You're the first super chatter of the day. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. That's it. I don't have any tips to shout out or anything else. So if anything else comes in, I will. But in the meantime, you guys have any quick things you want to talk about before we get to gameplay? Yeah, see, Carlton Jr., see, here's the thing. With 2-hit sweeps, if the first hit hits low and the second hit hits high on block, does that mean you could 2-in-1 off of the high hit? Because you can't 2-in-1 off of a sweep. It's not possible, right? You can't 2-in-1 off of a sweep that grounds, but you can 2-in-1 off of a high attack. So imagine if now you do the sweep, if it hits them, oh well, they're tripped, big deal. But if it doesn't hit them, if they block on the second hit, you can now 2-in-1 into a move, or you can drive rush out of there to do a mix-up. That would actually add more advantage to people doing those 2-hit sweeps. So that's the question. If you're not, then it's just actually it makes those sweeps completely worthless and no one will ever use them. It would make jamming sweep is crap now. Did I ever play Half-Life 2? Yeah, did a full playthrough of it on this channel and its expansions. Yes, I did. What's up, Jade? How you doing today? Jade, you said you'll be playing this game today, right? So you won't be around. That's cool if you're not. It's good to see you here, though. Was the first was the first boss in Hellblade 2 disappointing? I wouldn't say Hellblade 2 has a boss. That boss is just a puzzle. Bowser World, that's sad to hear if it's true. I really don't care. I really, I really don't care about that whatsoever. I don't need to know about it. That's none of my business, and we don't need to talk about it on my stream. I'm not interested. What's up, Game Boy? How are you today? Good to see you. By the way, guess what, guys? In celebration of the return of Street Fighter 6 to prominence, and many of you being here for the premiere, I hereby gift you 5 memberships to the community. If they ever load. Congratulations to the following people. Pay-to-Man Jerry, X-Coca, that's it right now. I'm waiting for the others. Don't worry, they'll go out. YouTube's being slow today, apparently. I gave out 5 yesterday as well. Idries, Scrawn Eye, and Ryan Phillips. Congratulations to you guys who got the gifted memberships. That's all I have for this month, but the good news is the month resets in about 7 days here. So I will be able to give out more soon, in about another week or so. Okay? So congratulations to those who just got those gifted memberships. Enjoy them. Jade says, is Jury good or bad now? I don't know, Jade. I don't know if they nerfed or buffed her. I have not looked at her balance patches. Yes, Generation Z, we shall see. I'm about to start trying Akuma and see what his new moves are and everything. All right, guys, what I'll say is this. I'm playing a lot of Street Fighter in the next 2 days. All right? I hope... Oh, by the way, thank you, Dark Soul Master, for a super chat. He says, Phil, you ready for Akuma Baby? Indeed, I am ready to learn this new character. Let's see how he is, right? I'm actually hoping that he's decent and I like the build because at least then I'll have like a Shoto in my repertoire. I didn't play with Ryu or Ken in Street Fighter 6. It would be nice to have one, right? No problem, Game Boy. Yeah, Game Boy got a gifted membership yesterday. Anyway, so I just want to say this. I'm going to be playing a lot of Street Fighter the next couple of days. Street Fighter is going to be prominent on these streams for the next few weeks, basically, as we get used to all these balance changes and everything. All right? Please consider contributing to the streams and supporting them. All right? A lot of the times, it's easy to get caught up in the oh, he's playing a fighting game or whatever, and he's, you know, we're not talking to each other as much or whatever. I would love to keep covering fighting games extensively, just like I did in the last year with Street Fighter 6, but that does require your support. Liking the streams, engaging with them, liking the videos, engaging with the videos, supporting the streams with things such as super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips. All right? My goal is to hit $50 a stream. If we could do that, I consider that a good stream. Anything else above that is also greatly appreciated and helps this channel immensely. So please, even though it's Fighting Game Mania now for 2 days, let's not be like, oh, well, there's, you know, people watching the stream. That's great, but I do rely on support to keep this stuff going, right? So I hope that you guys will engage and support the content. You know, shout-outs. I always give out shout-outs when available. So if right now I'm learning Akuma, I'll try to do shout-outs in between when I'm not focusing on it. In between sets, I'm going to do shout-outs. I'll do my absolute best to make this fun for everybody. But understand that if it's a little different with fighting games, you know. It's not as easy as say, oh, I'm playing Fallout 4 and I can talk with you guys constantly and stuff like that. Colin Jr. says, overall, I'm underwhelmed by the patch. Seems like Capcom was afraid to make major changes. Most is quality of life improvements. Happy for harder and remove throw loops. Well, you know, here's what it is. They definitely do not want to monstrously change the game during tournament season. We're literally entering big tournament season, right? This early summer into summer is big tournament season. You know, EVO and everything coming up. So they don't want to monstrously change the game yet. I guarantee you, after EVO, that's when they're going to announce Season 2, and they'll probably do changes and stuff. This is a big thing to get everyone reinvigorated for the summertime and the 1-year anniversary of the game. That's why they did this. Sakai no Senshi says, no, Ken did get nerfed. His fireball is nerfed. His target combo is less abusable. They made his corner stuff less strong, but he did get some buffs. Oh, buff the best character. Sounds good. That's genius level stuff right there. All right, I've received my first tip of the day. Is a $10 tip from Big Papa Phil. Happy Satsui no Hado Day, Phil. Overall, I'm excited to see balance changes. They seem to be emphasizing more traditional footsies by nerfing drive reversal and by buffing nerfing drive reversal. Oh, drive rush. He put DR. They did nerf drive rush. They did. They made it now. It's easier to stuff drive rush. And by buffing the options you have off normal buttons. I like that Sumo Spirit lets Honda combo into 100 hands off standing light kick, standing medium, crouching medium. I saw that. Standing medium kick in particular is a really cool advancing low profile move and it's great for poking, but it couldn't be confirmed into anything. So the hype is bad. Yeah, like I just said, I think what they want now with Honda, instead of him being just spam headbutt, spam butt splash, spam headbutt, spam butt splash over and over into like safe situations, I think they want him to be now someone who always has sumo spirit charge and is trying to hit into the hands. And then that could lead to combos. So I think Honda's gameplay will actually dramatically change with this patch, I believe. Now, will he be better or worse? I don't know. It's like people said, Honda was the scrub killer, but at high levels, he sucked. Maybe now he won't kill scrubs anymore. He'll be harder to play with, but he'll actually be like higher tier now, comboing into hands constantly. We'll have to see. It almost feels like he's going to be a different character now. Yeah. Okay. What's up, Expandong? How you doing? I know. Expandong says, what a crazy week for games. His Paper Mario remaster is on the way. Physical copy. He's ready to re-experience the classic. I can't. Eventually, I feel like I will play it. I just right now, it's not the time. I feel like I want to play it, and I will play it at some point. And yeah, Multiverses next week is going to be interesting as well. Where's Jasper today? He's outside of the office with his mother somewhere in the house. I don't know. Carlton Jr. says, Ryu's changes are pretty major. He can save his Denjin charge. He can also combo EX Fireball into a level 1 super, which is a great full-screen punish Fireball war tool. Okay, I don't know anything about that. I don't even know what that means. Saving Denjin charge? I don't even know what that means. Isn't that down, down, and punch, and then he threw the Fireball that's better? So you're saying, what is it, infinite? Is it infinite now? I don't even know what you mean. I haven't even touched Akuma yet. I can't tell you who will be good and bad against. I have no idea. I have to play the character first to see what, how fast is his Fireball? Does he really have a zoning game like a Shoto? Or is he a hybrid, different kind of character now? Is he more about mix-ups with the flip into combo? There's been many different variations of Akuma, so I don't know. You only use Denjin Charge if you use HP Fireball or OD Fireball. Oh! So you could still throw regular fireballs when you have Denjin activated, and you can use it later. Okay, I understand now. That's neat. Cool. All right. I think we'll end the show. And I'm going to take a break to use the restroom. But when we come back, I'm going to learn Akuma. Or at least try. I don't know how good I'm going to get with him or if I'm going to like him. But I want to learn. So you got to be patient. You have to understand when I get a new character in this game, I'm going to go first to that tutorial mode where it teaches you his basics. Then we're going to go to the combo trials and try some of those. So I learn some of those bread and butter juggles and tactics. And then we're going to go to casual play. All right. But I need to do this stuff first. I can't just jump right online. Look that you're going to be patient for like an hour while I mess around and I try to learn this character, okay? But in the meantime, I want to say thank you guys for chilling with me. Thanks for the patience. We were waiting for a reinvigoration of Street Fighter 6 for a while. I'm so happy that I hit Master with Zangief, in the last week. We had that little bit of breathing room, and now we can focus solely on Akuma and seeing what's new. Maybe we'll try Zangief and see how much better he is. His normals are dramatically improved now. And more meter all the time. I mean, he could be way better. We'll find out. But again, thank you all. Hope you guys enjoyed. When we come back on Friday, obviously I'm going to be telling you about these experiences I had with the game today and go from there. All right, everyone? So thank you so very much for watching the Level 1 podcast. Enjoy Street Fighter Mania. I'll see you Friday.